Welcome to the Soul Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me is Baby Ben.
Oh my god. Don't even fucking start.
By the end of this episode, maybe he'll grow to full-size Ben.
I actually put in my notes in SpaceGodzilla. Yeah, in SpaceGodzilla, if they call him baby again, I'm shutting the film off. And I was going to hold to that. I'm like, I swear to Christ, if they call him baby, I'm turning this off. I'm reading the Wikipedia summary for what I haven't seen, and I'm out. Like, I'm done.
He's a little baby boy.
I was going to like take a little drink every time they said baby in the other film, and then I realized that I couldn't because I died before we got to discuss how terrible it was. Oh my god.
That's the problem with most drinking games like that. If it's actually something you notice, you would probably die if you actually drank that much.
There are some when it's okay, where it's like, you can get away with it. But just straight up every time they say baby, like, yeah, you're a dead man.
Yeah.
Depending on what your drink is, I guess, but it was fucking brutal, dude. And like I didn't even mind it at first, the first couple, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and sanity out the window.
Yeah, well, we'll get to SpaceGodzilla. But first, we've got Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Or what if Terminator but Godzilla?
I was really...
Just with the time travel.
Yeah, I was really digging the setup.
The ideas in this movie I just think are really, really cool.
Yeah.
Of like, hey... What if we just erase Godzilla from time and replace him with our monster?
Yeah, to prevent Japan from, being number one.
Or because we're evil, whatever. Whatever one of the explanations you want to go with.
Japan becomes rich. And the United States and Russia and China are no longer superpowers. I'm like, whoa, okay. Fucking fantasy alert.
Japan started buying continents.
One
that's
by
definitely
one.
how that would work.
I like how it's one by one, as if there are more than 7 continents on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, they bought the Antarctica first.
I was gonna say, do you start with Antarctica, or do you go for some a little more classy? Like, do you actually just go full? Does Japan fulfill their destiny as being an asshole to the rest of Asia and buy that one first? Like,
I mean, it is the one that's closer, but it's also much bigger than the rest. So,
yeah, but a lot of it's,
I don't know.
Either way, it was fine. It just made the mistake of featuring Ghidorah. Otherwise, it would have been great. Instead, it's not.
I don't hate Ghidorah the way you do.
I think if I would have seen this one first, I would have been way more on board. But I've been burned too many times. It's too late. I do think this is the best Ghidorah film of them all.
Yeah.
If I had to choose another one to watch, it would probably be this one.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good Godzilla movie because the plot is like interesting. Of where this UFO shows up and then it turns out that they're from the future.
Yeah. Like, I love this setup where it's like, you start in 2204 and then they hop back. Like, I was on board with that.
Yeah, we start with Ghidorah's already got a head chopped off dead at the bottom of the ocean. Or almost dead, whatever.
I don't think I ever figured it out in my head. So there's Godzilla, right? And people know about him, right?
Yes.
The dinosaur on the island is like a separate thing, or the guy... Okay, back up. Wait, I'm gonna I'm gonna outline this. So there's the dude who's like, I saw a dinosaur on the island, and I swear this is Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I must have forgot the part where he said that it's Godzilla or something. I was super confused at first.
No, the guy at the beginning is also talking about the World War II stuff, I think. Because the part that's confusing is we get two guys who start talking about Godzilla on the island.
Yeah, I'm talking about...
And one is just like a...
So there's... Okay, so there is in fact one dude who somehow like doesn't connect dinosaur and Godzilla and just talks about the dinosaur?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, the dinosaur will save us.
Right. Okay, because I was wondering how he was so fucking dumb that he somehow couldn't connect like giant I feel better now. I'm like, huh. If only there was some other big dinosaur-like creature that's been stomping around Japan for like the last 60 years or whatever.
Whatever. I mean, the only movies... With this one, I think the only movies that have happened are the original Return and Biollante.
I mean, still...
You're not wrong.
That's like all you need.
Also, ESP is just a thing, so
yeah, that's
And I didn't react. I actually didn't notice her in I didn't really notice her in Godzilla versus Mothra, but there's one character, Miki, the psychic girl, who's actually like in all of these movies from Biollante through Destoroyah.
Yeah,
which is the same psychic girl in all of them. And it was more clear to me this time and that's that character. Like, there is no other character who shows up that often in any kaiju movie. Like, kaiju movies are
lots of one-offs.
As you can tell with most of the Godzilla series, all the characters are super disposable and don't come back for other movies usually.
Yeah,
even when they're direct sequels. So her showing up for like 5 movies or whatever is pretty... 6 movies, I think. Pretty is worth noting.
Yeah.
It's because she has psychic powers, I think. They didn't want to have to explain psychic powers every time, but they wanted to keep using psychic powers, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is dumb, in my opinion. Like, it's not put in the spotlight enough for it to be like truly an issue, like some of the absurd shit from the older movies, but like it's really fucking dumb. It's not noticeable, so I don't really mind, but now and again they're like, use your psychic powers to do this thing. I'm like, this is terrible. This is just awful. This is like the worst.
Yeah, it's so weird how much a part of this batch of movies it is.
It's really weird. Like, it's so consistently lame. I think, like, I don't know. I was definitely okay with it in Biollante. Biollante?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, plants, though. I don't know. Was that the first one where they really shoved it down our throats?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Because that's the first follow-up to Return. It's where they introduced all that stuff.
Yeah. So, in King Ghidorah, it took me a while. Like, I thought they were going to do aliens again. I didn't realize that we had, like, time travel. And so I'm like, oh my god, the aliens are just people again. Here we go. And then the dude, like, who, keep in mind, I 100% think they're all aliens right now.
Yeah.
So we get whatever guy, and then it's like Japan national or whatever, like the chick. And then the guy's like, I'm Wilson. I fucking lost it. Because I thought he was an alien. He's like, I'm Wilson. I'm like, holy shit. I was actually a little disappointed when they revealed themselves to be time travelers. But for a brief moment there, it was one of the funniest moments in a Godzilla movie in a while. It still is pretty good.
Your green and purple suits.
Ugh.
Future fashion. And all the androids wearing fucking ridiculous vests.
Yo, the vest.
That's how you know they're robots.
And the cargo pants. Like,
yeah, man.
Straight up. I actually wrote that down. I just saw it in my notes. How do we know he's an android? Well, we gave him this dumb fucking vest.
Yep.
Really gotta separate him.
Also, I will say, kind of my favorite thing in this whole batch of episodes is the English. All the English.
There's so much.
It's so
terrible.
bad.
It's all
amazing.
terrible. Was it I don't know which one I'm thinking of.
I think it's the most ridiculous in the next movie.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely that one.
Mechagodzilla II.
Yeah. Okay. No. It is this one I'm thinking of. When the US soldiers are on the boat and the guy is like,
oh right, the fucking Spielberg thing.
Yeah, Major Spielberg. And then even before that dude just like put enough, he had enough of it in flesh. He's like, keep it a secret. And I'm like, oh fuck. Are there multiple secrets that you're keeping here? Because, you know, I don't know. Just all of it was delivered terribly, amazingly, perfectly.
Yep. So, the other thing I'll say is the time travel rules in this movie don't make any fucking sense.
Oh, no.
Like, there's no respect for history, because, like, the first thing they do is show that guy the book he's gonna write.
Yeah.
You're like, we want you on this mission because of this book you haven't written yet, but you're working on, but you haven't finished it yet. It's like, oh, this is what it looks like. And also, we'll get into it, but like they erase Godzilla from time, but that doesn't. Everyone still remembers Godzilla. Like nobody's memories of history is altered at all.
That's the first thing I noticed.
Fucking,
like, they did it. Godzilla's gone. What?
Like sort of.
Except he's not. I also thought the way they brought back Godzilla was fucking lame. Oh, there was just enough regular radiation that he came back.
There were other nukes.
Like, that was stupid. I hate it because it's something that should have been taken into account by a civilization 300 years in the future or whatever.
Well, look, they're just they're like time pirates, so
they're time pirates.
They're like I don't know. They're like Greenpeace in the future or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's I like the plan of travel back in time to prevent Godzilla's creation. Like that's a cool idea. What did you think of the Dorats?
I was on board with them until I wasn't. I was like, oh, sweet. I literally wrote an origin for Ghidorah that isn't trash. Nice. Next line. Wow, never mind. They did it themselves. Boring as fuck. Like, I want monsters to happen without people needing to fucking create them or control them. I just want big shit fighting each other without people needing to be behind it for some reason. That's what I want. So I like them. I like the idea. I actually it was good because I'm just the type of oblivious person who I didn't pick up on that at all until she's like, "Oh,
that's hilarious.
Where are the things? Where are the things? They're not on the ship." And then they're like leaving. I'm like, "Oh fuck, they left them there. That's how it happened." Like it took until that moment, right? Like so I was right.
Also, was it suspicious to you that they kept their like emotional animals in their plane? Their emotional support animals. Like, why are they coming with us? Oh, it's in case we get stuck in the past and we're sad.
It's hard for me to question anything stupid in these movies.
Fair. That's fair.
It's all just so dumb.
That's fair.
I don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
I love the way they depict the android running.
Oh, yeah, dude. I couldn't tell if he was hovering or running fast. Why are his arms pumping? Like, I'm...
Americans, take that, you dinosaur. fighting the dinosaur. Also, the idea of like a military force all being killed by one dinosaur is kind of ridiculous.
Dumb.
Like,
Yeah. Before it's even Godzilla.
yeah, it's just a little Godzillasaurus. And they like fire the fucking, they like bomb it with the fucking ships, the artillery fire, and he's still like, eh.
Yeah, it's just. I don't think the people working on this film had a strong grasp of what a dinosaur was, and they just kind of went with it. Are dinosaurs impervious to artillery fire? I mean, probably. They're dinosaurs.
I mean, we fired
right?
that artillery fire at that dinosaur. We should probably just leave and leave our entire troop dead on the beach. That
Right.
seems like a good thing. Like, they're pretty casual on
that's
vote
what
back
they-
about this leaving. Like, let's get out of here. Also, the Japanese soldiers saluting the dinosaur for saving them is real dumb. They got way too emotional about that animal protecting its territory. It was not saving you, you idiots.
Not even. It would have killed them all if it had the fucking chance.
Yeah. So also the time traveler at some point says, like, history has no room for sentiment, which, first of all, if you're from the past and someone from the future tells you that, don't trust them.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any feelings for you, whatever. Also, but that, like, no room for sentiment thing comes up in a bunch of these movies. Mm-hmm. Which are incredibly sentimental movies. It's weird. But there's always someone saying, you can't get sentimental. And then it's like, yeah, but it's sad Godzilla's dying.
Proceeds to get super sentimental. Someone said, go ahead, make my day in the movie.
Yeah.
So that was nice. Did someone... I feel like someone else in a
needing to
movie
be taken
said...
down a peg thing was so good. The explanation for why they wanted to destroy Japan in the future. It's like Japan needs to be taken down a peg. They're too good.
Man, that's such a fucking weird thing to have in their movie. Like, that's weird no matter what country you're from. If you are from a country and you make a movie about your country getting... A country that is suspiciously not rich or huge, getting rich and huge. I'm from Lithuania. We're from the future. We're from 2500 AD. Lithuania has taken over the world. Like... and you're from Lithuania. It just seems a little, like...
I feel like it's actually pretty common for, like, culturally... The version of the future is like your culture dominates.
Oh yeah,
for making
of course,
art.
of course.
It's weird the way they talk about it with
It's
like the economic dominance.
Yes, buying out continents.
The buying out continents line,
and
is,
that like that the three major superpowers aren't. None of them are superpowers, and it's like I don't think that's how it works. I don't know.
It could be.
You can't just say that. You can't just say that and give me no context. They could have
Yeah,
derailed.
you can.
They could have derailed
Look,
the story and made it about.
in a
that
world where
whole
you
conflict.
erase a creature from history and everybody still remembers it, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I guess. So,
but the important thing to learn, important lesson to learn from is also there must always be a Godzilla.
always.
So even when you try to erase Godzilla, it is inevitable. Godzilla is an inevitable fact about the world. And also he's bigger now because he is created by a modern nuke instead of a World War II nuke.
So I think they would have been better off trying to kidnap Godzilla and take him back to the future with them.
Yeah, but they already made that movie.
There's no fucking pleasing these people.
I'm just saying, they definitely made that Ghidorah movie.
I can't. I should have wrote down what scene this was from. I just wrote down that stare down though, and I can't think. Would that have been just Godzilla and
I really have no idea.
Damn. Gotta watch the whole film over now.
There's that part where the android goes, "Here I am," and then shoots all those other androids. Or whatever.
Yeah. I was really disappointed that they brought Cyber Ghidorah into this.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually... I know, coming from me, this is going to be shocking, but I was kind of the... it was my preference that they make another Ghidorah film with Cyber Ghidorah instead of shoehorning it into here. But I looked at what was happening in the movie. I looked at that timeline. And I'm like, nope, here we go.
Mechagodzilla is his official name.
But his street name is Cyber Ghidorah. That's what people know him as on the corner.
I also just like the idea of like, oh good, we've got Godzilla and now he's killed Ghidorah. Everything's great. Oh wait, no, we have Godzilla now. Now he's going to kill us all. I like the way it flips with those two monsters in this movie of like, we don't want either of them, but when we have one, we need the other. But if one of them wins, oh, we're fucked again.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just...
Also, the important thing is that there's a part in this movie where Godzilla trips and falls down, so you know he's in peak Godzilla form again. He just steps in a hole, it's just like trips and falls down. It's so good.
Yeah. It's great. A return to form.
Yes, exactly. Return to form for Godzilla. And then now future's been changed so Godzilla's destroyed in the future. It just doesn't exist. Though that doesn't seem to affect that woman from existing. So, and also the people in the future don't remember the other way of Japan, I guess. We get that scene in the sub when they're going to create Mechagodzilla.
Wait, say that again.
Weird.
The people.
There's a scene in the future, because when they're going to find Ghidorah's body, because Godzilla cuts off his head and then he's left at the bottom of the ocean,
right,
alive for hundreds of years, because that's how the ocean works. It's cold, so when you get a head cut off, you can just be alive at the bottom of the ocean for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they talk about why there's like an old man in the sub with the woman from the future, and he's like telling her like, "Oh, you're still caring about that Japan that doesn't exist or whatever. You sentimental, you're still trying to help Japan, your people." It's like a throwaway line.
Did he actually say that it doesn't exist or whatever?
It's like, yeah, it's like totally wrecked now.
Okay.
With new bigger Godzilla.
I think I just misinterpreted that then. But yeah, I don't know. Time is all fucked in this movie.
It's very fucked. But my favorite part is the dude whose life, the guy from the army whose life was saved by the Godzillasaurus dinosaur, who saluted Godzilla, and then he's like, "No, I won't evacuate while Godzilla destroys everything."
That's
Godzilla
what it
walks
was.
up to his building and kills the fuck out of him. That's the stare down.
That was the stare down. That's the stare down. Brought it back. I totally forgot about that.
It's so good. He gets so murdered.
Yeah, but he knows it. He looks Godzilla in the eye, and Godzilla looks at him, and he gives that little nod, and Godzilla blows the fuck out of that building. He knew what was going down, and he was cool with it, and I respect him.
I think he thought him and Godzilla were friends. That's how I read that scene.
Oh, I read it as like going down with the ship sort of deal. Like I was saved by Godzilla, and Godzilla's gonna kill me now.
No, I thought him and Godzilla were cool. Godzilla wouldn't hurt him, and then Godzilla murdered the shit out of him.
Okay, well,
that's how I read that scene.
Fucking sadistic. So I like my.
I mean, he was the one who wanted to. He was the one who wanted to create Godzilla again anyway, with his private nukes that he owns.
Yeah, private nukes.
But Godzilla was already created.
Yeah,
I love that. Like they wrote in a whole plot for creating Godzilla again, and then they get there and like, nope, he's already been created. Fuck you guys. Inevitability.
I don't know. I like that scene. Like the stare down scene is probably the best one in the film
Yes.
for me.
And then we find out that the writer guy was that woman's great-great-grandfather at the end, even though they were flirting the whole movie.
Yeah.
That was a weird detail.
So the bit where I forget what he says, and then she says, "Because you're from this era," and runs off giggling.
Yes.
That was like bullet in my brain bad. That's some terrible shit right there.
But yeah, the fight is good between Mechagodzilla and Godzilla. So there's good stuff there.
I mean, yeah, for a Ghidorah
I like
film, it was okay.
I like Mechagodzilla. He's a cool.
Yeah.
I like his metal head.
And his metal
Even though
body,
he is
his
the
body
thing I
armor.
don't love about him is that he's piloted by a human.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's kind of lame.
I was having that shit anime I told you about where the dragon transforms into a jet. Flashbacks.
Yeah. And the credits are pretty good because it's just Godzilla growling the whole he's just looking mean underwater through the whole thing. But yeah, that's that movie. It's fun. It's got a fun time travel plot, even if it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Arguably, that makes it better. Could you imagine if they had tried to make sense of it?
Yeah, fair enough. I like that they don't give a shit, I'll say. It doesn't matter. So after that, there was the Godzilla Mothra movie we watched, and then there was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, which is our next movie. And I like this setup for Mechagodzilla also.
Wait.
It's more interesting than just it's a robot where they like repurpose that Mechagodzilla's robot head from the future to design it.
Wait, we didn't watch a Mothra movie for this week.
No, from the one from last week.
Thank God. I was like, no. I was so careful.
No, the one with Batra. That movie happened in between these two, but I wanted to link these two because they're so closely related.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy that the only thing that can possibly defeat Godzilla is a different kind of Godzilla. We can't just make weapons and shit. We gotta make a metal dinosaur and put the weapons on that instead.
You see what they do in the next movie when it's not a metal dinosaur? It's so much worse and less effective.
Is that the one where it's a metal chicken?
Yeah, Magra.
Yeah, the metal chicken. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that when we get there. I got shit to say.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the idea of linking Mechagodzilla more closely to Godzilla than just being an alien robot that happens to look like Godzilla.
Yes, no, this was much better than the other thing.
I will say, the next time they do Mechagodzilla, it's an even better origin for it, though. So, it's still only up for versions of Mechagodzilla ideas.
All right, that's cool.
I like that they have another weapon jet thing, and they're just like, yeah, this is our old garbage super weapon. We don't use it anymore. It's more like a trophy.
I was confused on that for a little bit. It took a couple shots, and I was like, is it a jet or a dinosaur? Or oh, there's both. I wonder if that's gonna come up.
Yeah. Combiner robots, man.
Also, I think it was
big in Japan.
Is it Mechagodzilla that runs on a hyper operating system?
I didn't pick up on that, if that's what they said.
I think they said like it takes 3 experienced people to control it because it runs on a hyper operating system. And I'm like, oh shit, this is serious.
That sounds right.
You can't just put a hyper operating system in something, it's too dangerous.
Yeah, so then they reassign the guy who's the pilot for the super weapon jet, and he has no skills, and his hobby is pterodons.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Which is, you know, it works out for him, but it's like he showed up to his D&D campaign is like, I put all my points into pterodon knowledge. And the DM's like, all right, I guess I'll write some fucking pterodon content. It's gonna write about fucking Mechagodzilla, but fucking Rodan, here it is.
Oh my god. Also, I don't know how he fucking got anywhere in life. Like, I must have put this thing in my pocket by accident. What you not even saying, "Oh shit!" Like it was in my pocket somehow. But nope, I just must have put it in there by accident.
I'm a thief. It's fine. We get a shot of Godzilla School, where there are lots of students learning all about Godzilla. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Is that where that college kid comes from in the later film?
No.
Great.
They complete. I mean, it's not really Godzilla School. It's the military training for G-Force.
Oh, okay.
It's just the way that it's presented is a bunch of people sitting at desks in a classroom while the guy lectures about Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically Godzilla School. I know there's some like English here that's so bad I could not understand what the guy was saying.
Yeah,
he's like the commander of G-Force, like in the field. He's just like he speaks English, but I didn't know what he was saying, like ever.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was real tricky. I didn't bother going back.
Yeah.
I just
and then turns out Rodan's in this movie too.
Yep. Never enough to just have two fucking monsters fighting.
No, it's not enough.
Gotta
need more.
As many as you can in.
You need more, Ben. Also, at least they gave Rodan a much better design this time. He looks a lot better than in the older movies. Also, I really find it funny that they see it and that guy's like, "Oh, it's a Rodan." It's just a kind of pterodon, you know, big pterodons. Rodans. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's what it's there for. He had to know something about them.
Yeah. So, also, the way they present it with the two eggs, where one is broken and the other one turns out to be the baby Godzilla, it's a weird setup. And it took me a long time to realize that the other egg was Rodan hatched out of. It wasn't like Rodan's nest or something and some other egg had broken and like Godzilla had killed the other Rodan eggs to plant his egg there or something.
Yeah.
Like, because the way the movie ends up going with like Rodan and Godzilla Jr. being like brothers because they were in the same nest. Also, like, writing in the story of like, yeah, Godzilla eggs, they just put their eggs in other dinosaur
Just plop them the
nests
fuck
because
down,
they're
dude.
just asshole dads who abandon their kids. You know, like you do. You just leave your kid with your neighbors, and you pick them up later.
And then baby Godzilla happens. And the movie takes
Yeah.
a very sharp turn into the realm of being terrible.
Look, the important thing is that in the Godzilla and Rodan fight, Godzilla like two-hand strangles Rodan. Just like two hands around his throat.
Gets in there.
Yeah. Also, the guy who's a fucking pterodon fan, he like goes around and introduces himself like he's a Pokemon trainer. He's like, "Hey, I'm a huge pterodon fan."
Oh.
And it's the classic Pokemon trainer type line.
Yeah.
But it's, it's paying off for him. He put all his points into pterodon knowledge, and there's finally a pterodon. Even though the egg turns out to be a Godzilla, not a pterodon.
It's not a bad way to introduce yourself. I'm bug enthusiast Ben. But just
Also, because there's that one scientist lady who's near the egg, now she's Godzilla Jr.'s mom by the transitive property of being a woman too near an abandoned child.
yeah, that whole thing was just fucky.
Quality gender politics. Quality. Although I will say, I like Godzilla Jr.'s design in this movie.
Oh
more
no,
than
he's fucking
in other
adorable.
ones. He looks good in this one.
Yeah.
And he looks more reptilian. Like in the next movie, he looks cartoonishly cute. Like,
But he's
a
even
fucking
more
toy.
adorable. I was on board with it.
He is more adorable. But I like the look in this one, even though his tongue is a little creepy when he's like licking her,
Yeah.
licking his mom.
So it annoys me that they kept calling him baby. What's even worse is that there were some instances of them using it not as a proper noun, but saying baby in English anyway. And it made it 1,000 times worse.
Baby on board.
Ugh.
Also, so it turns out taking Godzilla's son isn't a great idea if you don't want Godzilla to just come and attack you. So Godzilla shows up looking for his son. And they say it's Godzilla Alert Level 3. And I really want to know what the other levels mean. If Alert 3 is, oh, Godzilla's showing up.
I mean,
I guess one of the levels is like Godzilla's in the water nearby and going somewhere else.
I would say alert.
Also, I want to know how many levels there are.
All right, so we can work from the assumption that 3 is worse than 2 and 1.
Yes.
In this headcanon, anyway. I would say 2 is he has been spotted somewhere that is currently no one is in danger, but he is coming towards a city. That's probably level 2. Mm-hmm. Level 1 is probably he's been spotted, but he's not going. Doesn't look like he's gonna come fuck up a city, but he's in the area.
He's just swimming around in the ocean.
I guess level 4 is like he's running at the city.
He doesn't run. Godzilla doesn't run.
That's
okay?
why it's level 4, dude. It's serious. And
okay, level 5 is definitely he's melting down and gonna destroy everyone.
No, that's probably like level 6. I was gonna say level 5 is he's falling towards the city somehow. Like he's gonna fucking body slam this.
It's been known to happen. Level
7. He's past. Level 6, he's fucking melting down. Level 7, he tripped on a wall outside the city. Now he's pissed. He's coming at us.
Yeah, that's top tier Godzilla. He fell down.
Oh my god.
So when he's approaching the city, there's like this shot of people in this like at a NASCAR event or something who like see him and start running, and they've waited way too long to start running because he is super in view.
Yeah.
And I would think you would want to run away from Godzilla much sooner than that. But they were like, I'm assuming they're just like super into their race.
Probably.
This race they're watching. And they're like, maybe he won't come this way.
Maybe he won't destroy the city. It's like people in California who are like, maybe the fire won't engulf my home in flames. And then it does.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely a human thing that people do.
Happens
I really like
to everybody but me.
There's the old white guy who goes, "The time has come to test our technology, see like the power of our technology or whatever." Yeah. And I just like in my brain, I'm like, you could just paste Gabe Newell's face over that and make a good meme or something, probably.
That's pretty.
He's
great.
so monotone.
Right. I wrote this way later in my notes, and I if I would have looked, I could have mentioned it sooner. The audio in this movie is so fucked, or at least in the version that we have. I don't know if it's intrinsic to the film or not, but when it was quiet, it was real quiet. And when it was loud, not only was it way louder, like that, you know, the old cliche, but it like peaked. Like I could hear it fucking clipping on the when it got real loud.
I didn't experience that.
It was mostly like the music. Like the music came in fucking loud and I could hear it. I was like, "Oh god, this is a little much."
It sounds pretty bad.
So,
yeah. So, Mechagodzilla's pretty tough. They send in Mechagodzilla to stop Godzilla, as you do. If you have a Mechagodzilla, flies
what else
in,
are you gonna use it for?
and it just kicks the shit out of Godzilla until it uses these anchors to like shock him while he's lying on the ground, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'll just reverse that," and then the shot goes the other way, and then Godzilla wins. Like while being on the ground, it's a weird fight in that way. He just like reverses the polarity. He's like eyes flicker. Also, after Mechagodzilla fails, they're like, well, let's send in the regular military. And that doesn't work. That's a waste. That's just a waste of time, guys. You know enough to know you need a Mechagodzilla to beat Godzilla, but you don't know enough to know that your little tanks aren't going to do shit. Also, Godzilla gets to destroy the Kyoto Tower in this movie. It's another tower off his checklist. He's like, I'm here to get my son, but while I'm here, fuck you, Kyoto Tower. Also, they come up with a plan to like mask that the baby Godzilla is there by like putting it underground. And I don't understand how that's supposed to work when Godzilla knows it's there and is already here. But it does. He just leaves. Although he does try to blow up the building they're in first. He like smashes the top of it. And I'm like, but your son is in there. It's like, no. I can't have my son. No one can.
Well, Godzilla is, you know, if you cover up his son just isn't there. Where's my son?
True. We get a good shot of them feeding Godzilla Jr. like fast food.
Yeah,
like
the burger.
She gives him a hamburger.
I love how she's like, "You're still hungry? He's a fucking dinosaur. Like, what did you give him? Some kibble?" Yeah, he's.
She gave him a flower. Like she gave him like a tiny piece of plant.
Great. I miss that somehow.
That's like the first thing she feeds him.
Okay, I just remember the burger, and he's like,
yeah. And then they're in a truck. And there's like all this fast food bags. And he gives him a hamburger. It's like, fucking. Oh, we gotta feed this lizard. Well, go to McDonald's, I guess. I don't fucking know what dinosaurs eat. Burgers, apparently. It's pretty good. We get to find out Godzilla has another brain in his butt. Butt brain.
Like it's, well, like they thought Stegosaurus was when I was little.
Yeah. Also, the idiot pilot dude, Pterodon fan, got demoted to parking lot duty, but that just gives him a setup to get into contact with the white guy who's like in charge of Project G or whatever, and kidnap him in his car until he tells him his great idea to combine Mechagodzilla and their old super weapon that he used to pilot.
Because that's such a, you know...
Yeah, and that works out. That dude's pretty amenable to this dude who kidnapped him in his car for whatever reason.
I just like... I don't know. I like how it's presented as like this big thing, like, this is what we can do. And it's like, yeah, no fuck.
Yeah.
Been seeing this coming like, for an hour and a half.
That was instantly what was going to happen. Also, then we cut back to Godzilla Jr. eating shoes. They've now decided shoes are the thing to give him to eat. I don't know why.
Whatever he's
but he's definitely walking around with a shoe in his mouth.
Yeah.
And then the telepathic girls show up.
That's with the stupid song, right? They sing the stupid song.
They sing the plant song
Right.
that they learned by studying the prehistoric plant that was on like the shell of
Yeah,
egg
it's
when
like
they found
Planet Melody or whatever bullshit.
Yeah, and it like summons Rodan basically. It like wakes him up, powers him up. It's like, yo, maybe don't sing songs you don't understand. Don't want to like create monsters and summon them.
I mean, yeah, in this, you could absolutely sing songs you don't understand in any other fucking universe except this one because you know something's gonna go wrong.
I mean, it's like reading the Book of the Dead, basically.
Pretty much.
Don't do it out loud.
We sang the song and now Godzilla has wings. I don't know what happened.
Also, their big plan for using telepathy in this movie is to use it to locate Godzilla's spinal brain, his butt brain, because they can't just use like a targeting computer or geometry to figure out where it is. They gotta use telepathy.
Yeah. It's like when you learn a new skill and you really hope that that skill becomes relevant. Like, man, I just learned how to do this really obscure thing on this weird program on a computer. Maybe a dude will hold the entire school hostage and he'll say, "Can anyone do this?" And then I'll save the day by doing this stupid thing that I learned. But the writers, instead of learning a stupid thing, they put a stupid thing into their movie. So now they need to use it whenever
Again,
it could be possible.
This character put her points into telepathy. I guess I gotta write my D&D campaign around telepathy.
Ugh.
Somehow. I have to make use for it. Use the skills you got. There's definitely stuff in here of like them loving Godzilla because the junior because he's so cute.
Yeah.
I refuse to call him baby.
If you call it baby, I would stop my recording and the podcast would be over.
But it's definitely like, yo, he's gonna grow up into a Godzilla, you guys. You realize that? He's not.
Well, maybe they can mold him.
It's like people getting pet alligators. Cute when they're little. And then you just want to throw them away. And then this is about here is where we find out, like, Rodan and Godzilla Jr. have, like, a bond for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So Rodan's coming to save his brother.
If they have a bond and they were in eggs together, why does the plant melody not do anything for baby Godzilla?
His eyes change color momentarily.
That it?
I think so.
Ugh.
And then Mechagodzilla shows up and kills the shit out of Rodan. Just like kicks, like just blows the fuck out of him.
Oh.
But then Mechagodzilla overheats. So clearly, Godzilla is better than technology because he doesn't overheat. See,
That'll be funny. That'll be funny in
2 movies.
2 films.
When I wrote that line, I wrote joke in parentheses after it, so I wouldn't forget that it's a joke.
Movie was real meh.
Godzilla feeds himself to Godzilla. Rodan feeds himself to Godzilla at one point. That's pretty anime. He's like, take the last of my energy.
Right. Okay.
Very
bad. I thought you meant literally, like food, and I was like, I definitely did not see that in the film.
No, he like falls on him and like turns into
there's
dust and dissolves into Godzilla.
Yeah.
To give him the energy to win. Which is like the whole weird thing of like this movie is very confused about who it's rooting for.
I mean, it's like
theoretically Godzilla's bad, but the movie's definitely rooting for him.
I don't think the movie gives a fuck, dude. Power someone up and let him kick ass, like whoever it happens to be.
Look, this movie is about the indomitable will of the human spirit and combiner robots, and how neither of those things are anywhere near as cool as Godzilla.
Well, it still managed to be worse than the Ghidorah film. Shame.
Look, there's the damage level 10 warning at the end. When it's blown up and they're like, this ship has been destroyed. There are no survivors. It's like, the dude's like, yeah, none of us are dead. What are you talking about, computer? That's good. But yeah, this movie just kind of ends.
Yeah.
It's like Mechagodzilla's defeated, and Godzilla Jr. leave. Godzilla Jr. sheds a tear.
Yep.
And then we get a nice life finds a way line. When they go like, the winner is life.
It was pretty bad.
The winner is life.
I mean, it's fitting for the movie, but I don't know. So which is your winner between the two?
Yeah, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah is better.
Yeah. Like, it has that absurdity element to it, and also they didn't say baby 1,000 times, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the structure of it, and the ideas behind it were just better, is a large part of it. Like the back and forth between the two ones. This one's kind of a mess with the whole Rodan thing.
Yeah.
And the Godzilla Jr. nonsense.
Yeah, it's so, like you said, it's back and forth, and it's just it feels messy.
Yep. Then we've got
Space
Godzilla.
Dude, from the
So
title
I will say,
alone, I was buckled up for a banger.
I will say, as a kid, I thought Space Godzilla was super cool. And as I've gotten older, I think Space Godzilla is kind of lame.
Yeah. No,
I think he's... I was more into like the extra spikes when I was younger, I'll say.
See,
giant shoulders.
I fucking hate that this became this is a thing. Like, it's literally just Godzilla with extra spikes.
He's just got lots of spikes.
But he does look different enough. It was actually good. Okay, when he wasn't flying in his stupid spike turtle shell thing, that was dumb as fuck. But when he was like on the ground, I actually thought his design was pretty good. Like, he looked way cooler than normal Godzilla, in my opinion.
His head is pretty good.
Yeah, his head. He had his teeth. Just it looked like they put more effort into it, or just didn't want to change. They never wanted to change Godzilla from the normal look, I guess. I don't know, but
yeah,
he looked cool. It's a shame that the movie blew its entire budget on the lens flares in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, so even as a kid who really liked Space Godzilla, I thought this movie was not. This is definitely what I remember being like, this is disappointing. This is a disappointing movie. The Twin Fairies show up.
Yeah. What was with the Mothra shit in space? Did I miss something there?
Yeah, when she left, that's her going out into space is like the last shot of her in the Mothra movie.
Okay.
We watched last time.
Yeah.
Also, they did make other Mothra movies after this. I don't know if like her splitting into Mothras was part of that or not. I'm actually just not sure. It could just not be, like, honestly, by the way these movies go. It could have nothing to do with anything. But that shot of her flying into space was at the end of that movie.
Okay.
Because remember, she's going off to sacrifice herself for that comet to crash into it that Batra was supposed to do.
Right.
That's why she leaves into space.
Gotcha.
But also at one point in this movie, they're like, yeah, the Godzilla cells came either from Mothra or from Biollante. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's like they give like two separate explanations for how this could have happened. Godzilla cells, man. Can't be trusted.
The top scene of this movie was when we're introduced to whatever characters that are on the boat, and the guy's just going fucking crazy to some garbage drum and bass song in a Hawaiian shirt. And he's just like, you gotta loosen up or whatever. I'm like, we could just have the rest of the movie be like this. It'd be fine.
I also like the scientists on the space station that gets destroyed by SpaceGodzilla.
That scene was fucking terrible, and it was great. Like, it's such it's so poorly shot and everything, and it was really
beautiful.
amazing.
It's a thing of beauty. Another weird thing I'll say about this movie, just while I'm thinking about it, is they made such a big deal about Biollante and Godzilla basically being the same because they had the same cells, and they don't do that here, and it's weird to me because this one has Godzilla in the name, but they like make less of a connection even than they did in that one.
Yeah. I mean, when being inconsistent is your thing, why stop?
We find those guys on the island where Godzilla Jr. is, and that one guy's setting up his Godzilla trap. It's like, I'm going to plant these landmines, and I got this one bullet. If I just shoot Godzilla in his armpit, he's definitely going down. I'm like, that's definitely not going to work.
Did they kill a real spider?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know.
Was a real spider.
I don't know, man. I'm questioning it. Either that or they got a very realistic, like, just how it died in the way it curled up in a way that freaked me out and I didn't like it. I was almost tempted to smash my not cereal friendly button in the moment because it really made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, this is late enough that I'm inclined to not think there was a real spider because this is the 90s, but
I guess
I'm not sure. We're not in the era where we shot this octopus in this movie and now the director or whatever is going to eat it.
Yeah. We got Megagodzilla.
We get introduced to Mogra. M-O-G-R-A.
Mobile Operations Godzilla Expert Robot Aerotype. Also see the worst fucking acronym in the history of the planet.
Mogra sucks.
This is some anime level bullshit right here.
It is.
Like, it is terrible. Yes.
Uh-huh. And also, the thing it does where, like, it separates into multiple parts, that was a thing they were thinking about doing with Mechagodzilla, but did not, I will say.
I kind of...
Because combiner robots, super popular in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, that's not surprising. I'm not going to say I outright thought of it, but... You know, when you first see it, I'm like, is this just Mechagodzilla with extra steps?
It's just Mechagodzilla, except it doesn't look like Godzilla, and it's lame.
Yeah, as I said, it's a big robotic chicken, a robot chicken.
It's got a little drill head.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Drill that never uses.
It uses it.
Does it? I don't even remember.
When it's fighting with Godzilla, it like drills into him. Yeah, like okay. If you can imagine someone leaning their head back and then slamming their head into a thing while bobbing for apples, it kind of does one of those motions. Mm-hmm. Just it pecks him basically.
Yeah, I got it. We get the scene of Godzilla Jr. stepping on all the landmines and being cute, and everyone's like, "Aw." Isn't it cute? He's standing on stepping on those landmines you thought would stop Godzilla, you moron.
But he's so adorable in this movie.
He's got those big eyes.
Also, when the space station got destroyed, because I think that was a bit before this, but
yeah, he is.
When the guy's like, "We don't know what happened. We can only assume it's a monster." Like from the footage they showed, I don't know how you could assume that.
They were crystals, man. They're just big spikes. Look, man, if you're in the Godzilla universe and something goes wrong, you just assume it's a monster. That's the safe assumption. Okay, so Godzilla shows up 23 minutes into this movie, and then the thing that happens is real dumb, where like they psychically link with him to make him walk along the beach, while this one guy who really wants to murder him tries to shoot him in the armpit with blood coagulant. Which I don't see how, like, that, like, bullet-sized amount of blood coagulant is gonna affect Godzilla at all, even if you hit him at a weak point. I don't get it. Maybe if it goes right to his heart, but his heart is a nuclear... I don't know. Shh. Yeah, that's true. We haven't figured that part out yet. Nobody knows.
See, I feel like
also,
I don't know. What do they think was happening? He's absorbing all this radiation the whole time. It's been like 60 years of the guy absorbing whatever we throw at him.
Yeah. I also don't understand why there are already like weird crystal pits like SpaceGodzilla on this island. I don't know what was up with those.
He touched down and immediately, boom.
No, they were there before he gets to Earth.
He like just dropped.
There's shots of them.
He just
I don't
shot.
understand. Oh, did those? Is there like a scene of those things arriving on Earth before him? Maybe.
No, but you can pretend that he like shit out a couple crystals and they hit the planet.
That's true.
Fill in those gaps.
Mogra gets its ass kicked by SpaceGodzilla because Mogra sucks. Yeah, I don't know. The tone of this movie is just weird to me. I don't even know what they're going for.
Baby Godzilla.
We get Tiny
trapped.
Mothra. Like they don't want to do the Twin
yeah.
Fairies again, so they just show Tiny Mothra, which is pretty good. Psychic Girl gets kidnapped by a dude who wants to make a copy of her telepathic brain so that he can control Godzilla, which is like, yo, we didn't need this extra plot here, guys. I don't. I guess it wasn't complicated enough, but
when I was looking on the wiki after watching, they said that the Yakuza kidnapped her, which is not how I interpreted that at all. But
me either.
I
wasn't really focused on who he was working with though. So
yeah.
I guess he was working with the Yakuza, but like that was a side to Dad, and they like tie him to this one guy who died in a previous Godzilla movie. That guy had a rocket launcher. He got killed. Godzilla killed the shit out of him. There's like one good shot I like here where their characters are climbing into the sewer to go rescue her, and it like just shows them going to the sewer, then just the camera moves up and it shows them climbing out like a block like inside. There's like one thing that looked cool.
I think that, and then later on when the city is like overrun with crystals and shit, I thought that was a cool scene. It looked good.
It was like Crystal Fortress, whatever.
Yeah. That was neat. Other than that.
Also, during this Godzilla attack, we cut to a dude who's a claw machine addict. And making this guy who calls him boss keep handing him quarters. So that he could win a claw machine stuffed animal for his child. That part was weird.
That's what it's all about, man.
Apparently, like, he was in a casino because they show a slot machine, but this dude is just in on this claw machine.
Why would you want to win money when you could win the stuff that the money might buy you? You're cutting out the middleman.
That's true. At one point, dude uses Miki as cover, and she makes the bed she's on float. So his cover moves, and he gets shot in the foot. That was pretty good. Look, don't use psychic girls as cover. They will move your cover.
I mean, or she could have just stopped the bullets.
It's just one of those things that's like, this movie's a little video gamey in a way, a lot of its stuff. It's got the monster with the shoulders that you need to attack and destroy. His big glowing weak points. It's got this cover scene.
I mean, the intro is pretty... Yeah, the intro is basically a video game intro. Bad guy descends, kidnaps protagonist relative, and then runs off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the guy who wanted to kill Godzilla the whole time goes rogue to try and kill Godzilla, which shocks everyone for some reason.
I can't believe you actually did it. He's been talking about shooting Godzilla in the armpit for like 20 years. I can't believe he did this.
Mogra does its separation thing to be two things, which I don't understand, because like, shouldn't it always be stronger as one thing? Why do they separate? Separate doesn't seem like it would be stronger. Mogra gets to do one cool thing. It gets to shatter the shoulder things.
It depends on the circumstances. I mean, Magic the Gathering. Sometimes you'd rather have 2 1/1s out instead of 1 6/6.
That doesn't sound right.
You don't know the circumstances.
It's true I don't know the circumstances, but I'm pretty sure I would generally rather have a 6/6 than 2 1/1s.
I mean,
I think you went a little too small with your 1/1s. Maybe 2 3/3s.
Sure. Oh no, because under the same. I mean, I guess they combine and do 6/6. Whatever.
Look, would you rather have your worm coil engine, or would you rather have the 2 worm coil tokens?
I mean, that's just a cycle. I don't even know. But
depends what you're up against.
Also, does Mogra really get to like? I don't feel like it deserves to be an entity. It's a thing.
It's a robot piloted by humans, yes.
Yeah, but it's a garbage one. Like, Mechagodzilla at least has, like, the other Mechagodzilla film and also has more character. This feels way more like a generic machine.
I mean, it is. But it's called Mogra, so it's Mogra. Like, when we get to the next movie and we're talking about the fucking Super X3, it's the Super
also
X3.
A terrible name.
Its name. Well, there have been 2 Super X's before, so it has to be Super X3.
I mean, that doesn't make it okay.
I don't know. Yeah, they beat SpaceGodzilla. It's fine. It happens. The important thing is that dude yells at Godzilla as he's walking away. Godzilla will have a rematch someday.
Also terrible.
Don't yell that at Godzilla.
He just turns around and starts fucking everything up again.
He just blasts him from a distance.
But we get a great
also
ending.
Miki removes the telepathic mind control device that's on him because, sentimentality. Yes, blah. I agree.
We get to see baby Godzilla blowing little atomic bubbles.
It's true.
Adorable.
He has big eyes.
Is there like there should have been just like a baby Godzilla movie, just like Baby Godzilla Adventures, and it's just him doing cute stuff for like an hour and a half.
There is a Godzilla's Kid cartoon, but it's not about Godzilla Jr.
Is that the one where he wears sunglasses?
No.
Because I want to get the clip that image is from, where it's like Godzilla in sunglasses and it says, "That's not very cash money of you."
So now we get Godzilla versus Destoroyah. I will say the subtitles on this video we had were fucking terrible.
Yeah, they were awful.
They were
ridiculous.
Like surprised. I've never seen subtitles that bad in a while. I don't know why they were so bad.
They were wonky.
But this movie, we get Godzilla 2 minutes in. 2 minutes.
He just
we
shows
get
up.
Godzilla, and he's all fucking glowing and weird. So this movie, I think, gets off to a strong start. Hits the ground running.
Yeah, no, you're just in it.
And it's got that good title card where it shows like the original Godzilla logo from the first movie, and then Oxygen Destroyer animation after the logo blows up. Mm-hmm. It's all good. It's good stuff. Also,
yeah, I love the callbacks to the original film, like throughout. I mean, the plot, of course, but then like showing the clips and everything, like that was great.
Yeah, like we get a picture of that scientist guy with an eye patch on the shelf.
Yeah.
I love his eye patch. It's so good. Yeah, so turns out Godzilla's melting down.
Well, first he might be blowing up.
Yeah, but it turns out his heart is a nuclear reactor, and it's melting down. And the person who figured this out wrote a thesis called A Private Consideration of Godzilla's Structure, which I think is a good thesis title.
Yeah.
But it turns out for that kid, Godzilla's just a hobby for him, though.
Yeah.
He's, like, related to the original Oxygen Destroyer dude, I think, or something. They retconned it in. Him and his sister, who's a reporter.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then other dude is making like another version of the oxygen thing.
Yeah, he's discovered micro-oxygen, which apparently will just lead him down the path to the Oxygen Destroyer.
Yeah,
but he's definitely like, it's not a weapon. Yeah, it can bore into any material, but it's not a weapon. Come on, guys.
Why would you say that?
Who would make a weapon? That would, like, be terrible. That would cause a world war. That's crazy.
So, I don't know if it's actually as cool as I thought it was, or if my expectations for Godzilla films are just so low at this point, but I thought that they had steaming water around Godzilla was cool.
It's dope.
Like,
it's dope.
It was a great touch. So
yeah, I like that. We get they just show a scene of like what Godzilla melting down and exploding would look like. It's pretty dope.
I had to go back and rewatch it, I think 3 times. Like the first time I got done with it and I like backed up like 10 seconds before that scene, and then I went through it again and I backed up to like 30 seconds before, and then I watched like the 5 or 10 minutes beforehand, and I couldn't figure out why the fuck the Earth was already getting fucked. Like, there was almost nothing to suggest that this isn't happening right now.
Yep. They just talk about like this is what could happen, and then they just show it.
Yeah, there's no like thing around the screen. There's no like wavy thing to indicate it's fantasy. Like, nope, it's just Godzilla's blowing up now.
It's pretty cool. He blows up real good. Melts like the whole city. I just want to say how dumb an idea micro-oxygen is again one more time, though.
Yeah, no, it's
micro-oxygen.
I found micro-oxygen. What the fuck does that even mean? Does it use micro-atoms? How is this assembled?
It's just micro-oxygen. It's like oxygen molecules, but they're smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works.
Now, that's definitely how the Oxygen Destroyer thing worked. The thing that destroyed oxygen.
I mean, wait until the next Godzilla film when they find macro-oxygen. It's oxygen, but big.
So I know I said the subtitles were terrible, but this guy explaining who he was to the reporter lady was pretty great, where he says, "You take me for an apprentice wizard in search of chaos?" And later he says, "I'm not a sorcerer's apprentice," according to the subtitles, which are not to be trusted. So
I don't know, man. I kind of like it better that way.
Yeah. I mean, mostly they just seemed to just be like bad grammar, direct translation of stuff, and there were typos. So
yeah, lots of typos.
Yeah. And then we get shots of the aquarium, and we get to see a bunch of fish evaporate.
Yeah.
Poor fishies.
The little crab things are dope, and then they're good before, and then they keep getting like. Each shot we get of them is better, and then eventually they're all just Destoroyah. And his design is fucking great.
Yeah, it's very good.
I think it's up there. It's such a toss-up. I think Biollante still edges it out just a little bit, but it's fucking close. He's a second. He's a second place.
He's
very barely.
Good. So this movie is basically Godzilla but aliens with the
Yeah,
way that
it felt like an
destroyer
alien
monsters are.
knockoff.
It's super feels like a low budget alien knockoff. Particularly the thing that seals it, like you're thinking it's like aliens, and then one of the monsters has its little inner claw mouth thing sticks out.
Yep.
It's like exactly. It's like, yeah, no, that is 100% what you watched before you made this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so they have soldiers fighting all these little mini crab monster things. But
Crabby boys.
yeah, when they shoot people, it creates like this weird vortex on their chest. This effect, just a weird effect. But the important thing is, it cuts a car in half just so that our character can survive. She's like trapped in this car, and it like blasts the car, and the car is just neatly cut in half when she's fine.
Life works in mysterious ways, man.
So in this movie, the Godzilla Squad, G Squad, they've downgraded from giant robots to just a plane again. They got the Super X3. But the funny thing is, this thing is way more effective than Mocker was. Turns out planes are actually better. I wouldn't have thought
something with mobility and versatility, and instead of a giant hunk of metal with a.
Well, the important thing is
drill
that it has
beak.
freeze rays, and apparently freeze rays are fucking great.
Well, I mean, the person who decided to put freeze rays on the thing, he'd been probably getting shit. Like, he was the joke of the G Squad for fucking years, because what dumbass only puts freeze weapons on a plane? and then they get the call that Godzilla's overheating, and this guy just fucking unloads on everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, that's how G Squad has operated. There's the guy who's super into pterodons, and they're like, fuck you, you suck. And then the pterodon shows up, and it's like, yes, pterodon guy. And then there's the guy who figured out Godzilla heart was a reactor, and his teacher laughed at him. So he had to send his notes to the Americans, because G Squad fucking laughed him out of the room. For some reason. I don't know why. What fucking class was this kid in that he turned in a paper about Godzilla and got laughed at out of school by his professor in a world where Godzilla exists? I don't understand.
See, how in a world where Godzilla exists, how is he the first fucking one to find this out? How are people
That's
not
also
studying
true.
this intimately from like day one?
I mean, they know Godzilla has a second brain in his butt because they fucking examined the baby.
Well, they probably saw it. So like on the thing or whatever where they found that out. They probably also discovered the giant nuclear reactor where his heart should be, but that's not the information they were looking for. So why mention it?
It's just not. It's not useful at the moment.
Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell us this was a thing? Well, you didn't ask.
You didn't ask.
I'm sorry, you asked about butt brains, not nuclear reactor hearts. Come on.
I mean, technically, they're asking about any way to stop Godzilla, but
There's a brain.
they
in his
settled
ass.
on butt brain.
You can work with this. Baby Godzilla's a teenager.
Yes,
He looks
grew up.
awkward.
He's awkward teen.
It took. Yeah, I also had to go back a little just to make sure I didn't miss something. Because at first I'm like, is Godzilla normal again? And I'm like, oh, no, it's slightly different. Okay, so baby Godzilla grew up.
Yeah,
As soon
and
as
it's
he
also
looks-
it's
Yeah.
hard to get a sense of how big he actually is until later in the movie when he and Godzilla are in the same place. Because he is
So
much
when-
smaller than Godzilla, but
Yeah,
you can't really
yeah.
tell that at first.
Well, there's like a scene of him, like walking on land, and he's like by a building, and I'm like, okay, he's way smaller. But
Yeah.
that scene, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is definitely like preteen, teenage. He's awkward. Look at him fucking skulking around with his arms all weird.
It's pretty good. Also, they finally start calling him Godzilla Jr. here.
Oh, this is also where I'm like, if they call him baby, I'm done. I'm out.
Technically, he should be Godzilla the Third, because he's the third Godzilla. Because there's one from the original movie that died, and then there's Godzilla, and now there's Godzilla Jr. But
I mean,
Whatever.
Godzilla was my father. Call me G-Banger.
Call me Earth Godzilla. Thank you very much.
Call me Earth Godzilla. Oh my god. There's so many options.
So, like, the little destroyer monsters fight the military as their horde grows in size and stuff, and then they like merge, and there's a good computer screen where it's like calculating the amount of micro oxygen in the area, and then like all the scales go off the chart. The computer just says impossible to measure, and then it explodes.
Yeah.
And Destoroyah comes out in a big form. Let my monster grow and whatnot. Fucking, he's bigger now. And then he flies away. He's like a separate. What's weird is he has this flying form and a crab form, and his face is completely different in both forms, but he changes back and forth between them.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird.
Still good shit though. I like his flying form. I like better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. His flying form is closer to his final form, and his final form is the best. So
Yeah. His final form is top notch.
Junior gets rocked.
Yeah. No. He
Does not
just
stand a
rolls
chance. He gets bit in the neck. It's real.
Yeah,
There's
he
like
gets-
a big fucking chunk out of him.
he doesn't.
That
He doesn't have much of a fight.
no, which is like, we've seen Godzilla Junior in fights before. It doesn't go well.
No.
Now, even though he's a teen now, he's looking a little Godzilla-y, still. Not much of a fight.
He doesn't have that man strength.
It's
He
true.
doesn't have that grown up strength.
He doesn't have the heart of a champion.
Or a nuclear reactor.
I mean, he probably does have a nuclear reactor in there.
Yeah, but it's like a little one. It's like one nuclear bomb instead of enough to
Little-
destroy the entire planet.
Little baby nuke.
Little baby nuke.
A cute little nuke. They show a shot of like they're watching the fight, and then one of the psychic one's like, oh, "It's Godzilla! I sense him." And then like it cuts back to Godzilla, and he's way farther away than I thought he was. It then shows him like out in the ocean, and you're like, "Oh, I thought he was closer by." They shot that weird.
I mean, yeah, the better shot is I sense Godzilla, and he's like right behind the building that they're in.
Yeah, I mean the best shot was in like when the in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. We didn't mention it. When the like alien UFO gets teleported, and they're like, "Where are we?" And they open the window, and Godzilla's right there and blasts them.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We get a little father son chat. And that's where we get the good size comparison and how much tinier Godzilla Jr. is before Destoroyah emerges into his final form with his giant explosion and his devil looking ass.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
I like how the
Big
one
ass
chick,
demon.
what's her name? Chick who like was all mopey about Baby Godzilla, about Junior.
Miki, the one who's
Yeah.
in all the movies.
Yeah, sure. When she was like, how could you do, like, we can't just lure him in, whatever. Like, you're gonna choose this thing that's gonna kill everyone as soon as it can when it's older over the city of
Yeah.
people and kind of the world at large.
Yeah. Yes. Did you say how cute he was?
I mean, not anymore. If she would have seen,
true.
had she seen him since? Does she know what he looks like now? She probably
I
would
mean,
have
she
been like,
knows
ooh,
now.
ooh. Yeah, lure him in.
Look,
Bring him over.
When she looks at him, she still sees that cute, innocent face, not his
ever.
teen acne.
I was just so
ass.
sick of people asking what the relationship with Baby Godzilla is. Like, I don't like the implications of that question.
There's a good scene of so Junior basically gets picked up by Destoroyah and fucking dropped, and he's like super almost dead. And then people are saying, Godzilla is crying. But if you look at Godzilla, it does not look like Godzilla is crying. Godzilla is emoting in the exact way Godzilla always emotes.
Yeah. Probably a mistranslation.
I don't think so. I think they're trying to be sappy about it. Godzilla, because Godzilla at least does go over to Junior and like gives him a little energy.
Yeah.
It's like, he cares about his son, but like...
Just so hard to tell these days.
He's he's a stern-faced dad. Mm-hmm. Doesn't know how to show he cares. Godzilla and Destoroyah fight. Destoroyah, for some reason, decides the best move is to split up into a bunch of little Destoroyahs again, and they like climb all up him, the little crab legs. Mm-hmm. It's fun, but it's also confusing why that needed to happen. It's just like the pacing of the fight is weird.
It's it I think it went on a hair too long. I don't know. So that's been a thing with like all these films. They're tacking on.
They're only tacking on like 10 minutes, but you feel it every time.
It's like between they've been consistently either 142 or 147, and you can fucking feel it. Like
I know, it's weird.
It doesn't seem like that much, but I'm like, holy fuck, this is taking way too long to do this thing.
Yeah,
I miss the old 130 on the dot.
I know the 130 was better. I will, for sure. Destoroyah goes back to full power. Godzilla starts to melt down. Godzilla like blasts him. Godzilla gets some good shots of like fucking opening up Destoroyah, so he's just bleeding everywhere.
Yeah.
But the thing that takes down Destoroyah is the fucking military. When he tries to fly away, they just blast him with all their fucking frost cannons and kill the shit out of him. Godzilla doesn't even get the kill, which I find is like one of my biggest disappointments in this movie. Is the fucking military takes the monster down. What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell? And then they stop Godzilla from destroying everything by freezing him as he melts down, and so he just dissolves. And then the movie ends with Godzilla Jr. standing up and being the new Godzilla. I
feel like if this movie had occurred way earlier, like in the 60s or whatever, I give it at least a 70% chance that we get a skeleton Godzilla movie. Like as soon as he started melting, I'm like, oh, there's a skeleton shot. And before that movie comes out,
nope,
his bones are moving.
This is the last Godzilla movie of this era. So. Mm-hmm. But they did. There is stuff in here like Miki's like, oh, I'm losing my powers, so they can write me out of future movies or whatever.
Yeah, finally.
And the Godzilla Jr. setup of like maybe next time it'll be him as Godzilla. No, they go back to making a direct sequel to the original movie next time.
The last shot was so good. That pan in, and it's just him roaring. Like they don't sully it with dialogue or any bullshit. It just ends on that, and it's so good. It was
great. A good way to go out. It's a good note to go out on. And then the good montage of
the credit montage was also superb.
Yeah, it was a good way to go out for what was the last Godzilla movie at the time. I think part of the reason they had to stop making them was the rights stuff for the American version that came out later.
Mm-hmm. This also blew SpaceGodzilla out of the water.
Oh yeah.
Not even a contest.
I think SpaceGodzilla is probably the worst of this batch, this era.
I had initially I wrote that I thought it was the best that I had seen so far, because I don't know. But it was definitely a case of like, as I sat on it more, I'm like, this isn't as good as like I finished the film and I'm like, this is the best one. Like of the three I've seen, this is the best one so far. And then I don't know, that slowly declined. I'm like, nah, maybe it's like the second best. Oh, maybe it's just the worst.
Maybe it's the worst.
Maybe this isn't really good at all. I just kept getting worse and worse. But
yeah, I don't know. That one I just find kind of boring.
I think Destoroyah wins overall as well. Maybe. Destoroyah versus Ghidorah.
Destoroyah versus King Ghidorah, I think it's close.
It is.
I do think Destoroyah gets a little too sentimental about Godzilla with the dying stuff. Like, that's a little much. So I think that's, like, otherwise it would be the best easily.
Yeah.
But, that stuff's a little much.
Yeah.
Destoroyah's such a cool monster, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like
he's definitely, like, the big thing for me with SpaceGodzilla is it's definitely, it has an amount of coolness, but it's not exciting at all. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, it's other Godzilla. Yeah. Like, Destoroyah is fucking exciting. Like, this is a fucking crazy monster, and it, like, does stuff over the course of the movies.
So,
where it's like King Ghidorah is King Ghidorah. Mechagodzilla is a cool little wrinkle, but
I'm thinking about it. I almost think I would like both King Ghidorah and Destoroyah better, like, as films, if they swapped the monsters. I think if they're gonna be sentimental about Godzilla and shit, put King Ghidorah in there because it's like one of the go-tos at this point. And then in the other film, like, you could easily put in any monster because, oh, these people are coming back in time and they're, like, doing this. Like, you could just fill that in. So, I think that would be mine, personally, for me. Like,
I think they
get sentimental.
They definitely structurally work differently as far as monsters go, though. Yeah, and I liked how they.
I mean, you could.
So I wouldn't want. I think just the way Destoroyah works is good, and I don't think it would fit in the time traveling plot. I would say
you just leave a bunch of little fucking crabs on the island. No big deal. Come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that would take away a lot of what makes, like, part of what makes Destoroyah great is, like, the weird alien.
That's fair.
Stuff.
Yeah. No, the it's definitely.
So I'm now just imagining that movie where instead of those weird crab monsters, it was just Dorats attacking everyone. little cute puffballs freaking murdering everyone. That'd be pretty good.
Gremlins.
Yes, exactly. Godzilla meets Gremlins.
They have their cute forms so we can sell the plushies, and they have their ugly forms so we can have Ghidorah.
Yes. I'm in.
But yeah, I think it's still Destoroyah for me. I really don't like Ghidorah. Honestly.
I think I'm gonna give it to King Ghidorah.
Okay, that's totally,
but
like, it is pretty close.
It's very close. So
they both do different things.
Let me just write this down real quick, so you can vamp any Godzilla thoughts you want to close with.
Not a ton, I guess. I don't know. As I said, I think, yeah, that was off. Well, yeah, it had to be, because it certainly wasn't last week on the episode. But I haven't gotten, like, burned out of Godzilla. Like, I don't know that I'd ever want to watch this many of them in this short of a time frame again. But yeah, I'm definitely still, like, I'm enjoying it, and maybe that's also, like, I'm at a point where I can, I don't get burned out on it because I'm not trying to necessarily enjoy all of them. I'm just trying to watch all of them. I guess. I don't know. Not that I don't enjoy them. They're all entertaining in their own way. But I think this was definitely, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's the weakest batch we've had. I don't know.
Fun for you?
Maybe. I don't know. Because
there was batches where the movies were bad, but they were fun.
Yeah, like, yeah, certainly the old films, like, they're worse, but also they're amazing.
Yeah,
these ones just seem like they still got that, like, absurdity nonsense going, but they're at the point where they're not quite bad enough to be
like, there was a competence to them, but they were they could have been more spectacular. They could have been tighter. They felt a little flabby because of the extra 10 minutes.
Yeah, that extra 10 minutes is killing these films. That's why Godzilla died.
So, for next time we do this, we are getting to the first American Godzilla movie.
Ooh.
And then, so we're doing Godzilla from 1998.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing Godzilla 2000, which was the first follow-up from Toho. And then we're doing Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla and Godzilla Monsters All Out Attack.
Yeah.
Which has King Ghidorah in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that one, it's Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, giant monsters all out attack, and Baragon is in it.
Great.
Because they always got to leave a monster out of the title.
I mean, naturally. Otherwise, it's not really a Godzilla film.
Yeah. And the other thing I don't know if that's interesting is, so like none of these Godzilla movies after I think Biollante might have come out in the US on VHS, but after that I don't think any of these movies came to the US till later. On DVD.
I thought it was later.
Until DVD they all came here. And Godzilla 2000 again came out in US theaters, so that was another kind of big thing at the time. It was a very small release, but it did come here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a podcast.
Yeah.
So you can email us, saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at saltcirclepod. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Spotify as Salt Circle Podcast. And you can find our episodes hosted at anchor.fm/saltcircle. And I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
And I'm on Twitter at bean_LP. Baby.
I'm not a sorcerer's apprentice. Think I am some kind of apprentice wizard just in search of chaos.
Who told you I was a wizard?